true. If I'm going to be able to succeed in a challenging time, I need to first really pay attention to the state of my filters. So we say this is the foundation for an optimal mindset. And what I'd like to do for just a moment is I would actually like to invite us to practice that together. So in fact, one of the things I like to do periodically, especially since we have, when you have a 4-hour Zoom session, is I think it's important to be able to sometimes stand up and move a little bit. So if it's possible and you can, I'm going to invite you to stand up with me. If you can't, or it's not possible, or you don't want to, it's not necessary. But I think to really get a strong sense, a good sense of what this coach state is about, it's good to do it in a more active way at first. So a first exploration is around this notion of a center, right? We have a center of our body in two ways. One is a kind of a center line that goes through our body. And when we are confident, when we are in our optimal mindset, we're going to be standing in that center line. Or if you're sitting, you can be sitting in that center line. And one really simple way to feel that center line is to take your right leg and your right hand and cross them over and feel that sense of a center. And you kind of do that maybe 3 times each side. So you're kind of just moving around that center line. Now, another way to do it, and this is one of the ways that I prepare myself in the morning and even before a program like this. I want to bring myself into what I would call the best version of myself that I can be in that moment. So another place where we have a center is there's a center line in the body, but there is also a center of the body halfway between the top of the head and the bottom of the feet is what we call the belly center. And one way to really connect to that belly center is to take your right elbow to your left knee and the left elbow to the right knee. And again, do that 3 times. And that should give you even a stronger sense of balance, of groundedness. Now, another thing that I often do is just a quick thing to help me get into this place where my filters are in this open and generative state. Is you can do a little balancing, which would look like this. You're going to lift one of your legs, so you're balancing on one leg, and you want to really find that balance point. And when you think you have a good balance, you can bring your hands closer together, and if you really think you have a good balance, you can then close your eyes and see, can I keep that balance? And then again, you can just do that, a couple of times on each leg. So this is another way of really gaining a sense of a physical centeredness. Now, again, if these are just some simple things that you can do in order to really, just quickly get yourself into this, what we're calling this optimal mindset. Another thing to do is you can take your hands, put your fingers over your thumbs, and as you stand, you kind of push down with your arms and bend your knees like you're pushing into the earth. You're really grounding yourself, bending the knees, pushing down. And then you put the hands up over the head. So it's like you're making this opening movement down into the earth and then up into the sky. And that's a way of sort of opening this channel. And maybe just a last little practice. These are just some physical things that I like to do every once in a while. There's a little process that I call the coach state Tai Chi, where you make these 5 movements associated to each part of that inner state. The first is centering. So you kind of push down with the hands, center. Then we're opening, you're sort of opening the arms out, open. Then to be alert and aware, you're kind of moving the hands, opening the hands above the head. And then connected, you're connecting the head to the heart, to the belly, to the body, to the earth. And then this kind of gesture of holding, I'm ready, I'm here, I'm ready. So you can do that again just a couple of times, centering, open, awakening, alert, connecting, and then holding. So just kind of really getting that sense of I'm coming present, I'm alert, I'm ready and resourceful. So that's just a first exploration of this coach state. As I was saying, this is now, there's many ways to do that. This is a particularly physical way that I like to do, especially after, an hour of Zoom. But you can do the same kind of thing sitting. You can make those gestures sitting if you need to. So that's kind of a first part of introduction to mindset.